CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
It's the NFL on CBS from Ford Field. Today, the New York Jets matched up against the Detroit Lions. And a month ago, it looked like this would be a lost season for the Jets, but oh, how things have changed. There could be a four-way tie at 5-5 at the end of the day in the AFC East. Chad Pennington has been a big reason why. He has re-energized this Jet team. They've won 3 of their last 4. The Lions are 3-6, but they've won 3 in a row at home. We'll come back with the opening kick after this.
Subway presents Fresh Starts, a salute to this season's surprises. Subway, eat fresh. Thanks to the NFC's top-rated offense, the St. Louis Rams have won 4 straight. The Rams' attack is led by running back Marshall Faulk, who is 3rd in the league with over 1,200 total yards, and quarterback Mark Bulger, who has filled in nicely for the injured Kurt Warner. With a league-leading 107.4 passer rating, Bulger has Rams fans hoping for another super season.
I'll have your steak and cheese with some of that Southwest sauce.
2 classic BMTs and put sweet onion sauce on hers.
She's so sweet. Can I please have a roast beef with Dijon horseradish?
Subway Club with hot peppers because we like it hot.
At Subway, every sandwich is fresh made just the way you want, with your choice of delicious meats, toppings, sauces, all on fresh baked breads. It can be complicated.
Just, give me what they're having.
Or simple. It's up to you.
Subway, eat fresh!
Ian Eagle, Solomon Wilcox, the rest of our CBS crew with you from Detroit, Michigan. Jets and Lions. Herman Edwards in his 2nd season as the head coach of the Jets. And big key for this football team, Solomon, that bye week before the Minnesota game. They got back to the basics, and it showed.
Have to give a lot of credit to Herman Edwards and his defensive coordinator, Ted Cottrell, and really getting this defense back on track. And they've done a wonderful job. And the main thing is they've gotten back to the basics and stopping the run, and they're playing so much more physical on the defensive side of the ball.
As for the Detroit Lions, a 40-14 humbling loss to Green Bay at Lambeau last week. Marty Mornhinweg, in his 2nd season as the head coach of this team, he has liked what he has seen from year 1 to year 2, and the biggest difference, he told us, they've got the quarterback, a franchise quarterback in their mind, and that's Joey Harrington.
And now they have to get some weapons around Joey Harrington. Last week in Green Bay, they dropped a lot of balls, and Marty Mornhinweg said, hey, we catch the ball in Detroit, so he's looking for an improved performance out of his receivers and his running backs and the secondary as well, who also dropped some interceptions in Green Bay.
Lions have won the toss. Jets will kick it off with John Hall. Eddie Drummond is waiting. And from the goal line, here's Drummond crossing the 20. And he is stacked up at the 24-yard line as Jason Glenn made the play on special teams. There is Joey Harrington, 3-4 as a starter. All 3 of the wins have come at home. You see the offensive line that will protect him. A change there at left guard. It'll be Matt Joyce in for the injured Tony Semple. Harrington, he struggled, though, in recent weeks after getting off to a terrific start as the first-year starter for this Lions team. Backs and receivers. Stewart has hurt the Jets in the past. Schlesinger, Crowell making his first start. Hakeem had huge numbers last week. And Ricks in a tight end. It's a 1st and 10 from the 23. Handoff, Stewart through a hole. James Stewart down the sideline. First play from scrimmage. And Stewart is forced down at the 38-yard line of New York by Sam Garnes. On the very first play, they caught the Jets napping.
They sure did. It just ripped it right off that right side here. It's coming off the right tackle. Corey Schlesinger kicks out on Sam Cowart, number 56, and from there, James Stewart is a guy, he's just a yeoman-like player. He gets it done. It's nothing flashy, but at the end of the day, he's going to put up some big numbers.
13 career 100-yard days, 2 against the Jets for Stewart in his career, and Harrington makes the connection with Ricks over the middle for a pickup of 6. Time to look at the Jets' defense. Across that line, this has been a much improved part of their defensive unit. Ellis, Evans, Ferguson, and Abraham, who had 2 sacks last week. Cowart, it's really clicked for him on defense. Secondary, Abraham, Beasley, the corners, Robinson, Garnes are the safeties. And a running play to Stewart up the middle. John Abraham wraps him up a gain of 2 for Stewart. It'll be 3rd down.
We talked to the Jets after they've won 3 of their last 4 ball games, coming in against a team in Detroit that struggled with a 3-6 record. Said, how do you guys avoid the letdown? Can't have that. And they said, hey, we know that this is a team that can really hurt you. And they said the main thing, we have to stop the running back, James Stewart. What happens first play of the game? He rips off a big one, letting the Jets know they're going to be in for a dogfight.
And Herman Edwards' defense has done the job the last 2 weeks against very talented running backs. Ricky Williams last week, LaDainian Tomlinson before that. Marvin Jones, who was shaken up on that play, now able to walk off to the sideline, and a stoppage with a 3rd and 2 upcoming for Detroit. Line of scrimmage is the 30. Jets have gotten back into the hunt in the AFC after a crushing loss to the Cleveland Browns. They squandered an 18-point lead, and that was considered the low point of the year. Detroit feels like they've got a home field advantage here at brand new Ford Field, and this is a 3rd and 2. Little shovel cutting through. Hakeem through a lane and a 1st down. Short of the 15-yard line, some razzle-dazzle as Harrington tossed it ahead for Hakeem. 14-yard run, and he's injured. Oz Hakeem, helmet is off and laid out on his stomach. Oh, boy.
Well, he's in pain and appears to be holding his leg. Don't know if it's a hamstring, but wow, he's in pain, and this would be a big loss for the Lions because he's been the one sure thing in this offense that have put up some big plays. Talk about weapons around Joey Harrington. Well, he said that Oz Hakeem is the guy that he's most comfortable with because he's the guy that's been there the most. He's been healthy. You see the big week he had last week at Green Bay, 7 receptions, 143 yards, started off that game with a 67-yard touchdown reception. You see him coming, taking the ball underneath, and he just gets jammed up right there as he goes down. And don't want to speculate what that injury might be, but he certainly was holding his right leg.
Detroit has had major problems at the wide receiver position. Bill Schrader dropping balls last week. Hakeem dropping balls last week. And Jermaine Crowell getting his first start of the year here today. He's been recovering from a knee injury, and he's been used sparingly throughout this season. But Hakeem is still on the ground. You saw the big numbers from last week against the Green Bay Packers. That included a 64-yard touchdown on the first offensive play for Detroit. And then the Packers just took over, and the card is coming out.
And they really felt like he was ready to even have a better second half of the season. They felt like if they could just get a number 2 receiver to be productive in this offense, that Hakeem would really come on and put up a big 1,000-yard season and post some big numbers, giving Joey Harrington the big play on the outside. So they really need to get someone as a second receiver to complement what Hakeem has given them on the other side.
Well, Hakeem has been explosive as advertised, and there's no doubt St. Louis has missed Oz Hakeem working out of that slot and taking pressure off the big 2 there in St. Louis.
Well, it's really easy to double the 2 guys on the outside and leave someone on the tight end man-to-man. You go with a 3rd wide receiver like Hakeem gave the St. Louis team. Well, you know what? Now you can't double anyone on the outside. It appears to be that leg that we were talking about. Not sure if it's his left or right leg, but they're working on his lower body. But certainly his presence is missed in St. Louis, and he's made his presence felt here in Detroit, at least in the first half of the season. 2
injuries on the opening drive of this game for Detroit. Oz Hakeem, an apparent leg injury, and they are going to lift him up with a stretcher onto the cart. And for the Jets, Marvin Jones leaving the game as well in this first quarter. James Darling stepping in at the middle linebacker position.
Now watch the left leg, because that's the leg they were working on. And he's moving forward. You see the, the knee sort of jams into the turf, but they fall on him.
And how about this? The Lions' all-time leading receiver, Herman Moore, very popular player here in Detroit, signed on with the New York Giants this week, and you had a bunch of Lions fans in this area scratching their heads saying, well, if he can still play, why isn't he playing here? So right now the concern over Oz Hakeem, the wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, after a toss from Harrington that gave Detroit a first down. I want to welcome those of you who have been watching Pittsburgh and Tennessee. The Titans getting a big win, and I know there was a major injury there with Tommy Maddox. An injury here as well in the first quarter. You see the final score from Nashville, 31-23. Titans over the Steelers. Oz Hakeem, after giving Detroit a new set of downs to work with, injured on this play after the short toss from Harrington.
Yeah, he injured the left leg. Not sure if he jammed that knee into the ground or if it was just the weight of the defenders who fell on top of him. But we talked about how much he's been a big play weapon for this offense and for the young quarterback, Joey Harrington. You know, they're going to take him off on this card, and now the other guys are going to have to step up. Jermaine Crowell and Bill Schrader, who struggled last week in Green Bay.
Last time that the Jets were here in Detroit, there was a serious injury to linebacker Reggie Brown. He avoided it, but it was touch and go there for a while. That was back in 1997. On first down, James Stewart emerging through a hole as Stewart took it up the gut. 11 yards on the carry. Sean Ellis brings him down.
Now this has to be a major concern for the New York Jets. The one thing they can ill afford to do is allow James Stewart to run the ball on him. He had a 39-yard carry on the first play of the game. Here he's ripping right through the middle of that defense. They felt like they had fixed the problems in the running game with their gap control, and they had been tackling so much better in their last 4 games. You allow him to have a big day, it could spell trouble for the New York Jets.
3 carries today for Stewart, 52 yards, and a first and goal just outside the 5. Harrington checking off, a switch in the backfield. Harrington on a rollout, throws on the run, incomplete. Looking for Bill Schrader back in the end zone. He wanted a flag.
Yeah, he wanted a flag because Damian Robinson, the free safety, had his hands on Schrader and had his back to the quarterback. Was not playing the ball. And watch Robinson, he'll hook up with 84, Bill Schrader. See, he's not playing the ball, but yet and still he had his hands on the receiver, and that's going to be pass interference. I don't know why the flag wasn't thrown, because Damian Robinson was caught out of position, was not playing the football.
And a second and goal now just outside the 5. Robinson got away with it. Harrington on a pitch. Stewart looking to make a cut and picks up a couple as Sam Garnes met him head on. Limited him to a 2-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and goal. And now Garnes is shaken up on the play. So already we've seen Marvin Jones leave this game. Oz Hakeem for Detroit, and Garnes just took the brunt of the hit with the collision. James Stewart.
And so much has been said about Sam Cowart stepping in and really upping his play in order to defend the run, but Sam Garnes has been a huge factor coming up from that strong safety position. He just takes a whack on his left shoulder, his right shoulder, excuse me. I think he just got a stinger because he is sitting up and trying to stretch out his neck and his back area. But he's a big player. He's 6'3", 225 pounds, 57 tackles on the season. Missed some games in the earlier part of the year, but with him in the lineup, they have been so much better at defending the run because they can leave Sam Cowart inside, doesn't have to come out in space, and Sam Garnes comes up from that strong safety position, comes up into the box, give them an extra man, and that's why they've been doing so much of a better job defending the run, at least for the last 4 ball games.
And Garnes just took a look at the replay on the big screen here at Ford Field, and it is a big screen. And Garnes is going to walk this one off. Last week against Miami, the first fumble recovery of his 6-year career. Garnes, the former New York Giant. John McGraw, the rookie out of Kansas State, has stepped in to play the safety position. And now this is a 3rd and goal. You see the red zone offense for Detroit this season. 8th play of the drive. Coming up. First possession of the game. Lions and Jets. 3rd and goal. Harrington wants to throw it. Fires. Picked off. Intercepted. Jones back in the game for New York. And he comes up with a turnover. Marvin Jones with the pick on Joey Harrington. And the Lions come up empty. Jets will have it at the 20 when we come back.
Okay, folks, let's get this party started. Call Seattle. Get McGregor on the phone.
Calling him now.
Morning. Good morning.
This is Scott McGregor. I'll be out of the office all day. Please leave a message.
That's not like McGregor.
McGregor's not there? Great.
Excuse me, there's a Mr. McGregor here to see you.
With Southwest Airlines last-minute fares, you'll never pay more than $2.99 one way. So why would you fly with anyone else?
You are now free to move about the country.
What is it?
It's a UBA.
The UBA? Universal Business Adapter. What's it do? It connects anything to everything. What's this for? Your laptop, your mainframe, call center, Unix servers, Linux servers, internet, supply chain, payroll system, HR, email. Slick.
Is it affordable? Fast?
Easy. Very. Does it work in Europe? You need an adapter.
Tonight, on the riveting conclusion of Master Spy, America's worst traitor will take greater risks.
We have a tape of a phone conversation.
And finally blow his cover.
I don't need to hear it again. I know his voice. You know what we have to do.
Oscar winner William Hurt stars.
Who are you playing with?
Master Spy, the Robert Hansen story. CBS tonight.
The defense is taught to read the eyes of the quarterback. And Marvin Jones, he's looking at Harrington. Harrington's reading the tight end, Michael Ricks. Doesn't look off. Jones breaks on the ball. And Joey Harrington, young quarterback, has to do a better job of looking off the defense. The veteran, Marvin Jones, he reads it like a Shakespearean play.
5th career interception for Jones, 12th of the season for the rookie Harrington. And the Jets get it with a 1st and 10 at the 20. First time the Jets have touched the football. New York coming off a 13-10 win over Miami last week. They did just enough against the former Jet Ray Lucas. Here's Pennington, too high on 1st down, incomplete. Anthony Beck in a matchup with Claiborne. Take a look at the offense for the New York Jets. Fabini, Machado, Mawai, Thomas, and McKenzie across that line protecting Chad Pennington. And sacks have not been a problem. O-line gave up no sacks against Miami last week. Backs and receivers, Curtis Martin, only one 100-yard rushing day this season. It came against Kansas City. And Martin is not 100% because of that left ankle injury. We expect to see more of Lamont Jordan, but you've heard that throughout the weeks, and usually it is Martin that gets the majority of the carries. This will be Curtis Martin. Stumbles forward, and not much there. 3-yard gain as he was cut down low by Todd Light. Defensively, the Detroit Lions come in ranked 28th in the NFL. Robert Forche still a man you have to be concerned with. Ellis, Rogers, and Hall across that line. Linebackers, it's a young group. Green, Claiborne, and Curry. Claiborne the leader of that group at middle linebacker. And the secondary, mix and match, injuries. Ryan Walker is out, so the veteran Eric Davis steps in. You've got Cash, a youngster, at one corner. Todd Light, a veteran, at the other, with Corey Harris playing strong safety. On a 3rd and 7, Pennington has the time. Quick throw on a slant. Lavernius Coles makes the catch, and he's got a 1st down out across the 30-yard line. Pickup of 10 through the air.
Chad Pennington, the young quarterback, first-year starter, does a good job, I think, going through the progression. Very smart player, and he just goes to the open man. Comes backside to Lavernius Coles, so he did look off to his right side. Read through the progression, finds Coles as a guy that they're going to move around a lot today. You'll see him in the slot. You'll see him lined up outside. You might even see him in the backfield with some trick plays.
5 catches, 80 yards, including a 42-yard reception last week in the win over Miami. Here's Martin running into a crowd, and only a 3-yard gain up the middle. Dante Curry, the first man there, to limit Curtis Martin.
And Martin is a guy, I think the ankle injury where it hurts him the most is, I think, in those power running plays. You saw him get hit right there by Curry, and he went down immediately. Normally, you can see him break tackles, and he has some extra power after contact, and I think that's where the ankle injury hurts him the most.
And we asked Herman Edwards point blank, is he going to be 100% at any point this year? And Herman looked at us and shook his head and basically told us no shot. Pennington throwing. Catch made by Wayne Corbett. He's been a forgotten man in recent weeks, especially on 3rd down, but Pennington makes the connection for a 5-yard gain on 2nd down. Corbett beating Barrett Green to the football.
Well, I think Corbett has really helped other players in this offense excel, like Lavernius Coles and Richie Anderson, of course, has been catching more balls. But Pennington, what he does for such a young quarterback, he stays within the system, and he goes to the open guy. If you're going to double coverage on Wayne Corbett, he's going to go elsewhere, work against single coverage, and hit the open man.
3rd and 2, a 3-receiver set. Santana Moss in the game for New York. Under 9 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Jets first possession. Line of scrimmage to the 42-yard line. Pennington, short toss to the sideline. Lavernius Coles. And a 5-yard gain. They'll keep this drive alive. Throwing at Andre Goodman, and it's a point worth mentioning because Goodman is playing with a broken left thumb, and Pennington's been seeking him out.
Yeah, they always try to find the weakest link in that secondary, and Goodman, they see that cast on you. They know he's not going to intercept any ball, so they're going to go after him. And Coles is the guy with the hot hand. He's the guy that's really been putting up some big numbers this year. His speed, his quickness should work well on this surface.
On a 1st and 10. Anderson sets up as a receiver. Martin by himself in the backfield. Throwing again. Pennington gets rid of it to Curtis Martin, creating after the catch and brought down. Good tackle by Todd Light, and he got Martin down low right where it hurts.
Pennington, for such a young quarterback, I think he does a really good job of feeling the pressure. Good pocket presence, and he's able to stay alive. That time they came in from the backside, he stayed alive, moved to his right. He does move very well in the pocket. Gets it out to Curtis Martin. He's doing a good job of leading his football team on the first possession of the game for the Jets.
Pennington has now gone 87 straight attempts without an INT, and the completion percentage, that just blows your mind, 70%. First-year start, Pennington. Quick throw. Richie Anderson has a first down for New York, and the Jets are moving the football through the air. Barrett Green made sure Anderson went to the sideline. They pick up 8.
You know, we talked to Herman Edwards. He said that Vinny Testaverde would come out and he would look to get the ball to Wayne Corbett. But I think it really works best in the offense when you're doing what Chad Pennington is doing right now. He's mixing it up. He's getting it out to a number of different guys, letting the offense work for him. And this is a good scheme. We know the West Coast offense worked, but Paul Hackett, he's been under some criticism. You can see when you have a trigger man that's going to sprinkle the ball around, this offense can work.
Double tight end set, 5 completions for Pennington, 4 different receivers. Little fake. On the end around, Santana Moss. Moss dancing, spins away, and he's got some room. Santana Moss to the 30. Moss from behind got to the 25. And a first down for New York. It was Pennington who came out to block on that right side for Moss.
And coaches will tell you, in the National Football League, you can't run east and west. But when you have the speed of Santana Moss, you can get it done. You can't do it all the time, but look at this. He gets away from several would-be tacklers there for the Detroit Lions, and there's Pennington out in front, leading the way, picking up the first down. Santana Moss, great speed, and this sports turf here, I think it's really going to work well for the Jets. They have some team speed and sort of like a track meet for many of these guys. Not only Moss, but Coles as well. And don't forget about Chad Morton.
And this is the surface that they practice on, this field turf at Ford Field. Thanks very much. Get a little touch and feel.
You can almost feel it.
Right into your living room. And the same surface that the Jets do have at their practice facility. Injury for Detroit. It's Barrett Green, who has... He was helped off earlier, now is able to walk off with his helmet off to the side. Green, it's been a surprise this year. 3rd year out of West Virginia, a former strong safety. Excellent speed for that weak side linebacker position, and he continues to show improvement as the weeks go by. But right now, the Jets in business with a 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. 10th play of the drive. Jeff Gooch steps in at linebacker for Green. We had a long drive for Detroit, no points. Jets, a long drive of their own. Looking to get on the board. Draw play. It's Martin trying to break a tackle, cannot with a stiff arm, and penalty flags come flying. Eric Davis makes the stop on Martin. A gain of 1, running to the outside.
Can't quite tell what it was. It's either holding or probably a face mask.
Johnny Greer will fill us in with all these penalty markers.
Personal foul, face mask, number 26, defense. Will penalize half the distance to the goal. First down.
So it is the veteran Davis picking up the penalty.
He's closing in for the tackle. You see the stiff arm there by Curtis Martin? Davis is forced to reach, inadvertently grabs the face mask of Curtis Martin. He did let go. That's a good sign, because once you grab that face mask, sometimes it happens by accident, but you have to let go, and that time he did, so you know it wasn't anything malicious.
And they march it just short of the 11-yard line, so the Jets can still get another first down. Red zone defense, Detroit last in the NFL. When the teams get in there, they score. Martin tucks the shoulder, tries to drive himself, then driven back. And the ball popped loose after the whistle. Jeff Gooch, first man there. And a gain of 1 for Martin on forward progress. No score here in the first, under 6 minutes to go. The Jets and the Lions. And Curtis Martin, with Pennington as the starter, numbers have gone up just a bit, but these are still not numbers that you would usually associate with Curtis Martin.
And the rush yards per game are certainly down, 73 yards per game, so that's why they bring in Lamont Jordan, because he can get it done.
4 receivers set, timing pattern, a fade to the end zone. Moss was wide open. Touchdown, Jets. He beat Todd Light, and Pennington put it exactly where it had to be.
Well, he beat Todd Light from the word go. Light did not get the jam. It was just a beautifully thrown pass by Pennington. Well, it's Todd Light working against Santana Moss over in that right corner of the end zone, but he plays from off. You see the move. He bites on the inside move by Moss, and then he just lays it up. Pennington does. Easy touchdown reception for Santana Moss.
Second touchdown for Moss this season. Pennington with his 7th touchdown. And Hall with the extra point. A 12-play, 80-yard drive, and it takes up 6 minutes and 16 seconds. Pennington, arm in the air. His team up 7-0.
I'm stepping out with my baby. Can't go wrong, cause I'm in right. It's for sure, not for maybe. That I'm
The GMC Envoy has a hydroform steel frame. So if you're rattled, it's not us.
Oh,
that was easy.
Quite so funny, and I keep on knocking wood.
What have you been up to, Mr. Moneybag?
It's okay. I put it on the credit card.
Those interest charges are going to get us.
Don't worry. It's our new Capital One No Hassle card.
The Capital One No Hassle card has the nation's lowest long-term fixed rates, $0 fraud liability, and no telemarketing.
Can I ask you one more question? Shoot. I've been following you guys for a while, and I know the business is really cutthroat. So what is it that separates you guys from all the other bands?
I'd say our lyrics. Yeah, it's the lyrics.
Yeah, we're all about the words. Oh, that's good.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with a crisp and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. And by GMC, we are professional grade.
Back at Ford Field, and we're doing our part to get the message back to the New York area from that particular fan right there, number 80. A little bit larger than Wayne Corbett, but he's pulling it off nicely.
He's sitting in a sea of blue, boy. He's a brave man.
Jets on that drive. Pennington, 6 of 7, culminates in the touchdown pass to Santana Moss. Hall on a kickoff. Eddie Drummond filling in for the injured Desmond Howard. Here's Drummond looking for an angle. Getting to the outside. Drummond cuts it upfield, and he was met at the 32-yard line. Harry Campbell involved in that stop. Lions have the football in a moment.
make anything fancy.
Make something homey style.
Hey. Ooh, cheese, beef, more cheese, bacon, 3 more strips. I declare this Extreme Burger the winner. Homer, you've created a Whopper.
For a limited time, get the new Extreme Bacon and Cheese Whopper. Juicy flame-broiled beef, 2 kinds of cheese, 4 strips of bacon at Burger King now.
Woo! I made a
When he comes back here, grab him.
Go, go!
Print me. Hey, look, my first fish. Hey, over here, print me.
Hey, pick me. I'm smiling.
Pick me, please.
You pick the dog over your brother?
No, not the dog.
The HP all-in-one printer with proof sheet makes it easy to pick and print just the right shots.
Oh, that hurts.
Good value.
Price is right. What's the resolution?
2400 DPI.
Oh, brilliant display of team chemistry, Dan.
Yeah, Charles Rosen and Matt Herman not only have a command of the products, they anticipate exactly where the other's going to be on the floor.
CBS Thursday, porn turns deadly.
That was a murder.
And every frame leads to a killer.
How does somebody cross the line where killing a woman is a turn on?
All new CSI. Then a Saudi Arabian doctor goes missing. Now some fear the worst.
You think Anwar is a terrorist?
You've got to get up. No, don't do that!
CSI and Without a Trace, CBS Thursday.
Welcome back, Ford Field. Ian Eagle along with Solomon Wilcott. This has been as unpredictable an NFL season as we've seen in recent memory, and the New York Jets may be the best example of that right now, a team that was left for dead a month ago.
Well, it's really the poise and presence of their quarterback, Chad Pennington, has really come in and done a good job on that last drive, going 6 for 7, but he spread the ball around to 5 different receivers, so he has complete control and command of this West Coast offense, and that's saying a lot for a very young quarterback.
Lions take over, a 1st and 10. On a throw towards the sideline, Jermaine Crowell makes the catch cleanly, but a modest gain of 4 yards on 1st down. Well, Joey Harrington, he is a confident young man, but Harrington has taken some knocks here in his rookie campaign. At home, Harrington has good numbers, but the completion percentage under 50% so far in his rookie year. James Stewart gets the call, and Stewart is met by Marvin Jones. That's a 3-yard gain through the middle. And Sam Garnes has returned for New York. You were right about Garnes. He suffered a stinger.
And the Lions are going to go with a no-huddle offense, looking to change the tempo, trying to really keep the personnel on the defensive side of the ball where they can't really play the pass.
On 3rd and 3, Harrington zings it. Incomplete. Scotty Anderson, the intended receiver, white jerseys in the vicinity. And involved was Donnie Abraham. It's 4th down, Detroit.
You know, they were trying to catch the Jets with their base personnel, but Donnie Abraham, he comes in underneath, is able to get a hand in there. He doesn't knock it down. It actually hits Scotty Anderson in the chest. So they've had a number of drop balls the previous week, spent all this week working on the jugs machine, but Anderson's got to make that grab because it hit him right in the chest.
10-year veteran John Jett punting. Santana Moss has already returned 2 punts for touchdowns this season. This is returnable from the 11. Moss veering to the outside. And a spin move will get him out across the 20-yard line, but that's it. 12-yard return, 51-yard punt. Stephen Trejo, the tackle on special teams. Jets with a 7-0 advantage.
I cannot believe this present. It's so cool. It's the best gift ever. That's basically the reaction I want from my whole family.
We've got lots of gifts that'll do that.
Let's start with the kids.
Bring your list.
With CDs, games, DVDs, and more, we've got the gifts electronics lovers will love, and tons for under $50. Circuit City, we're with you.
Wow, great gift.
Exactly.
It's good to do things yourself, but you ought to do your homework first. Same thing with the stock market. That's why TD Waterhouse gives you independent research reports from Standard & Poor's, because you've got to learn before you can earn.
TD Waterhouse. You're in control.
To fit the way you write, a pen's gotta move.
'Cause I got it like that.
Introducing the Pendulum by Papermate.
Because I got it like that.
Bosses know where I am. There's no need to try to hide from a terrorist. If I weaken, the whole team weakens.
And that's just for openers tonight.
Monday, days all new with the King of Queens, Kevin James. Plus, Biff visits Schoharie, New York, and Dave brings in the entire town to be part of the Late Show. And Tuesday, don't miss Shania Twain.
Jets in front, 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter from Ford Field in Detroit. Jets trying to even their mark at 5-5 this season. Lions looking for their 4th straight win at home. Curtis Martin gets the carry. And Chris Claiborne, the tackle. A 6-yard gain for Martin. Pennington getting everybody involved so far in the first.
Well, he came out. He's just working the offense, staying within the system, going to Lavernius Coles, also finding Wayne Corbett, getting him involved early. Uses Curtis Martin as the bailout, goes over to Richie Anderson. And, of course, the 5th pass is to Santana Moss for a touchdown. 5 different receivers, and that just really shows that he can work the ball around, getting everyone involved early in the game.
And right now, Anthony Beck, the tight end, sets up as a receiver on a 2nd and 4. So a 4-receiver alignment, they're going to run it. Martin. Curtis Martin has a first down, running hard across the 35-yard line. Barrett Green, who was back in there for Detroit after getting shaken up earlier, limits him to a gain of 8. One other thing about Chad Pennington, Solomon. We asked him about making the transition back up to starter, and he said for any quarterback, you have to feel a sense of ownership for your offense. And he said it was hard to do that as a backup.
Well, he said it really started with him during the offseason, during their spring drills when Vinny Testaverde was fighting a foot injury. Well, he was able to work with that first unit, and at that point, he began to envision himself as the #1 quarterback.
Chance to throw here. Pennington sensing the pressure. And a dump off for Beck, but flags down on the play. Dante Curry with a tackle on the tight end Beck, and a gain of only 1. We'll see what the penalty marker is. It's against New York. Well, Johnny Greer just sorting out exactly who the guilty party is.
Holding, 77, offense. We'll penalize 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, still first down.
And it's right guard Randy Thomas. They'll back it up.
Now, Thomas is working across from Luther Ellis at the left tackle, but you know, that can kill a drive. But you have a young quarterback who's doing a good job. I think Paul Hackett's doing an excellent job of mixing the plays up, and they came out in the 4 wide receiver set, or spreading everyone out and trying to spread out this defense and create some running room for Curtis Martin.
Play calling last week against Miami a bit conservative, but that might have been the fact that they didn't think Ray Lucas could go out and beat them. Handoff, Martin bouncing off a tackler. Curtis Martin, a stutter step move into Detroit territory. And that penalty is nullified because of the run by Martin. He got a block from Beck, a 26-yard burst.
They'll just spread it out, and it'll hit right up the middle there. But you only can do that because on the previous possession, they spread the ball around with the passing game. They spread everyone out on this play, and they hit you with the draw play to Curtis Martin. So right now they're using the pass to set up the run, and it's all working in concert. Curtis Martin off to a good start.
7 carries, 49 yards. Jets have run the ball 8 times. They've passed it 7 times. The balance is there. Play action. Pennington fires upfield into triple coverage. Lavernius Coles. And a first down for New York at the 33-yard line. They are just methodically moving it down the field, 14 yards through the air.
You know, every now and then you need a player to make a play for you. The quarterback does. And watch how Coles, he'll come back to the ball. He gets back to the ball because it's thrown in an area where there's 3 defenders. He didn't just keep running up the field. He throttles down, and watch him, he comes back to the ball, made a great adjustment, and that's just a veteran ball player making a play for a very young quarterback in Chad Pennington.
Pennington finds the seam, and Coles has his 3rd catch of the day. Jordan is in there, and a direct snap to him. Lamont Jordan running to the outside. And Jordan with a little chicanery to the 20-yard line. How about that? Paul Hackett Mixing it up. It's a 13-yard run, and Pennington's got a smile on his face.
He is mixing it up. Look at this. Goes right to Jordan. He fakes the handoff to Curtis Martin, and they're pulling the center, Kevin Mawai, out in front. One of the few centers in all of football who can actually pull out on the perimeter. Has great speed, good footwork, but it's just a good play called by Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator.
Hackett, a swig of water as this quarter comes to an end. Ford Field, the site, end of one. The Jets leading Detroit 7-0. We'll return to the Motor City after this message.
There's a light in your soul that says you're one of a kind. Don't never let it go. Be original, an individual, like Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do. Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do. Nothing better. Be you, do what
Something's coming over me. My baby's got a secret.
when you need a cup, pour some sugar for me.
Shook up ramen?
Yeah, soup.
Freeze. A call to the library could help her out. Good thing T-Mobile lets her call whenever she wants. Go.
Says here, pour some sugar on me. I'm hot, sticky, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The most whenever minutes, free long distance in roaming, only from T-Mobile.
Get more.
Trip to the city of your choice, free.
How romantic.
Bringing along your friends,
I changed my mind.
priceless. Win a getaway in MasterCard's Priceless Memories Sweepstakes.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. And by T-Mobile. Get more minutes, more features, more service.
Start of the second quarter here in Detroit. Jets with a 7-0 lead, looking for more. This Jet team 9-4 on the road under Herman Edwards. And they face a 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line of the Lions. Pennington on a handoff. It's Jordan wrestling his way for a pickup of 5 yards. And it's James Hall making the stop for Detroit.
You got to like Lamont Jordan. He's a young player, but he really looks up to Curtis Martin as well as Richie Anderson. You know, he goes out to play. You get the sense that he wants to please the veterans in his group. He said in the San Diego game, when I came off after rushing for 100 yards against the San Diego Chargers, Richie Anderson, Curtis Martin said, hey, we're proud of you. He said that meant so much to me. And that's really what young football players have to do. You have to be able to please your peers and really be competitive, and that's Lamont Jordan.
And he remains in there on 2nd and 5. Pennington wants to throw it. Steps up, fires, post pattern, Wayne Quebec. Touchdown Jets.
Now, this is just too easy. And if you're Detroit, you cannot allow this to happen. They go play action down in the red zone, and they're biting on every play action the Jets throw at them. Now, I know Paul Hackett's doing a good job of calling the offense, but you have to look at number 25. That's Corey Harris. He gets out of position. They get in under the cornerback, Chris Cash. But you have to stay in position. Read the eyes of the quarterback. He's going to take you to the ball. At that time, once again, Detroit is caught out of position on defense.
Extra point is blocked. John Hall has had problems this season on field goals. He went 3 consecutive games with blocked field goals, but an extra point blocked. First time he's missed one this year.
Nightmare they shared as children.
It's like I'm 5 again.
Was only supposed to be a dream. On November 27th,
Something has come back to collect us.
Wes Craven presents a new dimension of fear. They, rated PG-13, in theaters everywhere, November 27th.
Where you stay, boys? Let's go get a couple beers.
I don't know, man. I told my gal I'd be home early.
Dude, rock. Be home early, brother. You wanna roll with whatever. What? You said early.
Taste buds, two kinds. The little yes men sitting at the tip of your tongue sipping New Age mango-flavored tap water, and the boys in the back of the class getting all the glory. So for them, there's new Red Fusion from Dr. Pepper. Red Fusion. Who's his soda?
It's the year's most attacking format, the Franklin Templeton Shootout. Join me and some of the greatest names in golf right here on CBS Sports.
James Hall's going to come through, and that's where the punt's going to get blocked. He comes in, gets penetration, gets elevation, gets us up high enough to block the kick by Hall. That's a big play because it gives your team a sense of hope. Right now, the Jets are off to a fast start here at Ford Field, a place where Detroit has had some success in their last 3 ball games.
And you look around the stadium, fans have been used to some success here with 3 straight wins here at Ford Field over New Orleans, Chicago, and Dallas. And right now, the Jets dominating the Lions in this first half. Injury update, Oz Hakeem. It is a hip injury, and he is out for the rest of today. Kickoff, Hall to Eddie Drummond. Lions looking for a big play, and it's not going to come here as Drummond gets out across the 20-yard line. 18-yard return. Joey Harrington will get an opportunity when we come back.
Spider-Man! What's cracking, baby? Woo! Hey! Where you going, Spider-Man? Woo-hoo! Ha! You're getting the girl. Saving the day. Yeah! Go, Spider-Man!
If they're into computer stuff, go to the one place that has it all, like Spider-Man the computer game. There's something fun for everyone at Best Buy.
Go get him, Spider-Man! Yeah!
Dennis, listen, got a little advertising opportunity for you, Pally. Foot powder.
Yeah, foot powder, right. Forget about it.
Well, before you say that, it's a truckload of money.
Sam, I don't do commercials, period.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir. I told them that.
Know why I don't do commercials?
Why's that, pal?
Because they're dishonest. They lie.
Boy, that's strong language.
I'm supposed to peddle some product I don't even use. Forget about it. I'm not going to do it.
I wouldn't let you do it.
You better believe it.
Tuesday, a sailor's death is blamed on half the ship's crew. But how many men can you arrest?
What is it you're after? I'm just trying to find out where the buck stops.
All new Jag. Then, the parents of a murdered child are the #1 suspects.
What happened to her?
But the answer to this mystery is something you'd never expect.
You're gonna need a lawyer.
All new Guardian after Jag. CBS Tuesday.
13-0 Jets over Detroit. Kurt Schottenheimer just huddled up his defense on that sideline, trying to get them revved up.
Yeah, he's upset because they bid on 2 play-action fakes on that drive, and he just can't have it. You have to play smart. They've been just really creating too many mistakes and big plays for the opposing offense. 1st and 10 from the 22 for Detroit. Harrington on a give. Stewart running well. Stewart across the 35 and forced out of bounds just short of the 37-yard line. 15-yard gain, and Stewart is putting up big numbers here in this first half. You can always get breaking NFL news, exclusive analysis, team power rankings. It's all at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. And that time Detroit came with the toss crack, and that's what they have to do is stick with the running game. The one sure thing for them has been James Stewart. 72 yards rushing so far in the game. That's going to allow you to have some play-action passes of your own and try to create a big play in the passing game.
Avion Cason checks in, and it's Cason going the other way. Faison brought down right around the 45 by Marvin Jones. That's good for 8 yards on the ground for Detroit. Ground game is working.
The ground game is working. Something that the Jets have become so much better. In their first 5 games, they allowed an average of 190 yards rushing per game. And then in their last 4 games, they've improved because they've only given up 67 yards rushing in their last 4 games. So far today, they're getting creased and getting caught off balance by this Detroit running game.
Part of that also is that they've taken leads in the last 4 games, and teams have been forced to come from behind passing in that second half. A big key. Quick throw. Harrington to Ricks, a big target, and he's into Jet territory. Sam Garnes, the strong safety with the tackle, 11 yards on the hookup.
And this is what the Lions need. You got to get it started with the running game to help your young quarterback out, Joey Harrington. Then when you go to your big tight end like Michael Ricks, he's a big target. You got to stick him in the numbers, and he made the catch. He had a couple of drops last week as well, so these guys are making some plays for Joey Harrington right now.
And a 1st and 10 at the New York 44. Lions did drive down the field on their first possession, only to have Harrington throw a pick in the end zone to Marvin Jones. Corey Schlesinger getting the carry up the middle, and Schlesinger picks up 2 yards. Just about everybody involved defensively for New York.
Right now facing a 2nd and 8. Don't be surprised they come out with play action fake, try to take a shot down the field. The thing is, with Hakeem out of the game, they're missing their deep threat. He's the guy that normally gets up the field vertically. He can run by some people. The other 2 guys are not as fast as Hakeem.
Last week in the loss to Detroit, a season-high 44 passing attempts for Harrington. 7 throws so far today. This will be number 8 on a lob for Stewart. And he is trampled at the 37-yard line, 5 yards. Harrington to Stewart. Sam Cowart makes that stop, and Cowart, it's finally clicked defensively for Cowart and the New York Jets. He's looked like a different guy the last 2 weeks.
Well, he said those first 5 weeks were some of the most frustrating of his career. He's the guy that's moved inside the box. He had never played that strong outside linebacker position before, even when he was in Buffalo, so they move him over to the weak side where he's not working against the tight end or a player out in space, so they keep him inside the box, and now he's fitting up real well in the running game and let him in tackles last week against Miami.
Now a 3rd and 3, empty backfield for Detroit. Harrington will fire. Got a man. Bill Schrader makes the catch. Looking for an angle. It's Schrader. Takes it the distance. Touchdown, Detroit. The enthusiasm of Joey Harrington rushing down the field to congratulate his receiver.
Well, he's got to be happy for Bill Schrader. A difficult week for Schrader here in Detroit after dropping 3 balls last week at Lambeau Field. He had played for the Packers, went back there, wanted to have a big week, and maybe have been trying too hard, but he adjusts to this ball. It's a laser thrown by Harrington. Watch him, comes back to the ball, gets underneath the safety, Damian Robinson, and then he outruns the rest of the defense for a touchdown. Excellent play by Bill Schrader.
Extra point, Jason Hanson. Jet the holder. Fanta will snap it. And Hanson tacks it on. So that missed extra point by John Hall all of a sudden becomes more in focus. And for Bill Schrader, demoted to the number 3 receiver position this week. But the injury to Hakeem lifted Schrader up, and he makes a play for Detroit.
So, what'd you guys do last night? What did you guys do?
Nothing.
Oh.
How romantic.
Trip to the city of your choice for 8 free.
Come along, boys.
Shopping free.
Just a few more blocks.
Entertainment free.
No cats in this one, right?
I don't think so.
Time with people who make you feel warm and fuzzy priceless.
Let's go. Drive fast.
Use your MasterCard and you could win a getaway with people you're closest to in our Priceless Memories sweepstakes.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Coors Original, real golden beer. Official sponsor of Guys Night Out. MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by IBM, taking business to the next level with e-business on demand.
Snow flurries here in Detroit. Jets in front of the Lions 13-7. Ian Eagle Solomon Wilcox with you from Ford Field. We're in the second quarter. Jason Hansen will kick it off. After the touchdown pass, Harrington to Schrader, 37 yards. Chad Morton, Lamont Jordan are waiting. On the kickoff by Hansen. This is Morton from the goal line. Morton. Little juke move to the 23. And Bracy Walker the stop on special teams.
Now watch the free safety, Damian Robinson. He's in zone coverage. He's favoring the 3 receiver side, but he has to watch the slot receiver to the backside. See, he's favoring the left side, and then he takes a poor angle and allows Bill Schrader to come underneath. He doesn't make a play on the ball, and he's not even in position to make the tackle. So it's just poor zone discipline by Damian Robinson that time. He has to stay underneath and be able to make the play, either get the hit or knock the ball down.
And Schrader called last week's game the most embarrassing day of his career. And everything that you mentioned with Green Bay, those storylines going back against his former team, the Packers. Jonathan Goodwin is now in at left guard for the Jets. Pennington on a toss for Martin. Shake and bake move. Martin is spun down. Todd Light met him, and it's a loss of 1 on the play as Pennington threw out to the flat.
You know, both these teams run their version of the West Coast offense, and it's really pared down because both quarterbacks are so young. Pennington, Harrington for the Detroit team, and then Chad over for the Jets. So they're going to work in some screens. They're going to run some draws like what we've seen with Curtis Martin. But at the end of the day, the quarterback has to make good plays, can't throw interceptions, and has to protect the football.
Tight formation on a 2nd and 11. Pennington 9 of 10 throwing it. 10 of 11 now. Lavernius Coles creating once again after the catch, and a first down for New York at the 37-yard line. 16 yards, Pennington to Coles.
Well, the thing that really surprises me, I've had a chance to watch Pennington on tape, and this is Coles just working underneath. You can see the speed and quickness as he beats the jam that time by Chris Cash. The speed of Coles, but Pennington's very accurate. He can get the ball into tight spaces. The receivers don't necessarily have to adjust for the ball because he can hit the receiver in stride.
And Pennington took a smack from Robert Porcher on that play, but still was able to get rid of it. This is Martin. Nothing there. 1-yard gain, Luther Ellis, the tackle. Coming up tonight on CBS, don't miss the riveting conclusion of Master Spy, where Robert Hansen takes even greater risks and an unbelievable chain of events finally blows his cover. Oscar winner William Hurt stars in the world premiere movie Master Spy, the Robert Hansen story. That's tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. On a 2nd and 9, Pennington was 0 for 1 and now has completed 10 straight. 4-receiver look. This is Rich Gannon-like for Pennington. Handoff, Martin trying to move laterally. He does, dives forward, and they will spot it just short of the 45-yard line. Todd Light missed him, and then Martin stumbled for some extra yardage.
And when you spread out the defense, you only have right now only 6 guys in the box, 4 linemen, 2 linebackers, and then you can break it and bounce it outside where there's defensive backs, and you have the receivers blocking them. So that's what they're doing. They're spreading out the defense and allowing Curtis Martin to create some things in the running game by bouncing it outside and using his speed.
12 times they have run the football, 11 passes so far. This is a 3rd and 3 for New York. crowd trying to get energized. Play clock down to 1. Play action. Pennington on target again. It's Santana Moss. Where are they going to spot the football? Did he get to the marker? Todd Light made the tackle. Let's see where they spot it. And it's going to be a favorable spot, and it should be enough for a first down, as Lions fans disagree. They moved it. Initially, the line judge had backed it up a yard and then took a step forward.
Well, I think Moss actually caught the ball beyond the first down marker, but he comes back on his own. There's no forward progress on this. He comes back on his own, and he's tackled by Todd Light right in the spot where he was standing once contact was made. I think they gave him a very favorable spot where he initially caught the football.
They'll bring out the chains at the 7:29 mark of the second quarter. Jets led this one 13-0. Detroit has come back with a touchdown of their own. Harrington to Schrader. And the Jets trying to keep this drive going. They will. A first down.
Yeah, let's take a look and see where he caught the football. See, I think right now he's beyond the first down mark, but see, he comes back on his own looking to elude Todd Light. And then Todd just takes him down with a very fine tackle, and then they're going to spot the ball where he initially caught the football. Forward progress is if the defensive player pulls you back. And that time, I think Santana Moss came back on his own.
He had to get to the 47.5-yard line, and they spotted the football clearly at the 48. First and 10, new set of downs to work with for New York. Pennington steps up in the pocket, throws, juggled on the sideline. It came off Moss. Are they going to give it to Light? Yes. Todd Light, the interception off the deflection.
That's just not fair to Pennington because he threw a really nice ball. Very catchable for Santana Moss. He's working against Light from the off position, but he'll break back on the ball. Watch, this ball is right where Moss wants it. It goes off his hand. Todd Light, he stays in bounds, and he controls the ball. That's going to be an interception.
And the first pick of the season for Todd Light, now in his 12th year in the NFL. Detroit gets the football back. Kurt Schottenheimer wanted his unit to make a play. They just did. 36th career INT. And a first and 10 from the 36. Give to Stewart. And he'll take a loss on the play. James Reed makes the stop on that defensive line for New York, loss of 1. And you're right, that pick should not go on Chad Pennington.
Oh, yeah, it's very unfortunate for Pennington, but, you know, he's a bright kid, and he's a team player, and he's a leader. He talked to us, he said, hey, my job is to win football games, something I've done since I was at Marshall, and he took that team to an undefeated season in his senior year, winning 13 games. So, you know, he's going to bounce back from this, but right now the defense has to anchor down and shut down the running game of the Detroit Lions.
4-receiver look. Second and 12. Handed off. Stewart. The hole closed up in a hurry. And Josh Evans helped make sure of it. 4-yard gain for Stewart. It'll set up 3rd and 8 for Detroit.
And every player we talked to for the New York Jets said, we have to stop James Stewart. And he's down. Can't get up.
Az-Hakim already out of this game for Detroit, their most explosive wide receiver with a hip injury. And now James Stewart, their starting running back, hunched over in pain. We'll come back to Detroit in a moment.
What are these? Magic Business Binoculars. How do they work? You look through them, you see the future of business. Wow. The future sure looks different.
What do you see?
It's a 3D holographic projection of the world to come.
Things move fast. Everything's integrated. Everything works in real time.
How'd we get everything to work?
I don't know. It says I need another quarter.
Go to hyperspeed now! Clear!
I'll never forget you. Never.
Ving,
What?
just pick a movie.
Really get into movies with the finest from RCA at Radio Shack. Like a 27-inch color stereo TV, only $249.99. And make the movie experience real with this home theater with DVD, now just $299.99.
How about this?
No, please.
Move along, little doggy.
Radio Shack.
Hey, I was just thinking. Have you ever seen a really overweight squirrel? Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, me neither. I think you'd see one every once in a while. Nuts are so fatty.
Yeah, but they do a lot of cardio.
When you drive a car you never have to think about, what will you think about? The Civic from Honda.
Access NFL.com now on America Online. Get live game day coverage and real-time stats at AOL keyword NFL.com.
Stewart was able to walk off for Detroit. The medical staff for the Lions still checking him out on the sideline. 8 rushes, 74 yards for the Lions running back. And a 3rd and 8 for Detroit, under 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Corey Schlesinger is the lone back in the backfield. Motion man is Owens. Fakes the handoff. Harrington, rush is coming. Harrington gets rid of it, incomplete. Schlesinger couldn't catch it, and a flag down. Did Harrington take a late hit from Abraham? We're going to find out momentarily. John Abraham came off on that edge.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 94, defense. First down.
You know, Harrington's a very difficult quarterback to sack. He's been sacked 5 times in 9 games. Here's Abraham coming off the right side. You just have to be patient. You're not going to be able to get to him, but you have to hold up in that situation.
Just not smart.
Just not smart at all. That hurts your football team because now you put Detroit in a position to make a big play, and they're close to getting back into this football game.
Look where the line of scrimmage is, the 47-yard line of New York. And a 1st and 10 for the Lions. Stewart is back in there. He gets the call. Bouncing to the outside. Stewart with a short gain of 2, and Abraham was the one that touched him up at the 45-yard line.
And Abraham told us, he said Harrington is really good with his footwork. He can elude the sacker, and he can get rid of the ball real quickly. He said, we're just going to have to be patient. That time, Abraham lost his patience.
Well, John Abraham also told us that defensively they were making 19 mental errors a game through the first month, 5 weeks of the year. And now, he said the defense is making 3 or 4. You can put that one on him.
Oh, that's certainly a huge mental error.
2nd and 8 for the Lions. Fake the handoff. Harrington slings it low for Bill Schrader. Incomplete. It got to Schrader on a bounce.
And Harrington wishes he had that one back because he just short hopped that one. The accuracy has been declining in recent weeks, and here is an example of it because Schrader says, hey, I'm ready to catch the ball this week. And Harrington can't get it to him. Last week he did get it to his guy. So talk about him completing 49% of his passes. Last week he had 8 offensive players drop passes, and that you just can't have that if you're going to win football games.
Both of these teams offensively have been very balanced here today. And now a 3rd and 8. Clear passing situation for Detroit. Harrington into a crowd. Incomplete. A matchup with Crowell and Mickens. And the Jets win out. Ray Mickens, they call him the sack master. Sacks in each of his last 2 games at 5'8", maybe 180 pounds.
That's right. They've used him on a quarterback blitz, but he's one of the best nickel cornerbacks in the National Football League. He breaks on the ball, gets underneath. Jermaine Crowell, he read the eyes of the quarterback that time and made a play on the ball.
On the punt, John Jett bounces it into the end zone. 45-yard punt, but a net of only 25. Lions unable to take advantage.
In 5 days.
Tell me what you know, James Bond. It's a 00 and a wild one.
I could use a fast car. Live for the moment.
Must you touch everything?
Absolutely. Die another day. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday.
See that? That ain't condensation. That's perspiration. They're sweating me because I don't live in their world. I'm the X Factor, the loose cannon, the road cop. So come on, partner. Let's ride. New Red Fusion from Dr. Pepper. Who's your soda?
Hey, hello. Now that you're finally on your own. Hey, hello. You're on my mind, don't you know?
When you can stay connected, yet be free, that's M Life from AT&T Wireless. Plans to keep you connected start at $19.99 a month.
Monday, it's one hot night of comedy. First, when the King of Queens plays matchmaker, things go monstrously wrong.
We built ourselves a Franken couple.
Then, supermodel Heidi Klum guests on Yes Dear.
Oh. How hot is that?
Next, has Ray's brother finally found the one?
Don't forget, he married one that wasn't the one.
And TV's hottest new comedy still standing.
Don't we love each other enough to go a few hours without television?
Depends what's on.
Hot comedy, all new, CBS Monday. Plus, Dave's got Kevin James on an all-new Late Show.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by MGM's Die Another Day, starring Pierce Brosnan, and by Guinness Draft Stout, enjoyed responsibly the world over.
The rookie Joey Harrington is now 6 of 11 throwing the football, 77 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And the Lions have given the football back to the Jets, a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Jets 13, Lions 7, 4:50 to play in the second quarter. Pennington steps up, thrown to the flat. Curtis Martin. He got clobbered out near the sideline, a gain of 3. Chris Claiborne involved in that tackle. Wednesday on CBS, don't miss the sexiest night on television. Heidi Klum, Tyra Banks, and the world's top supermodels heat up the runway on the all-new Victoria's Secret fashion show, Wednesday at 9, 8 Central, right here on CBS, America's most watched network. 2nd and 7 now for New York after the gain of 3. Santana Moss matched up with Andre Goodman. We know that Pennington has been picking on Goodman so far in this first half. We'll see if he goes there again. Audible at the line of scrimmage. No, on the ground. And it's Martin out across the 25. Pickup of 3, Robert Forche, the stop.
Well, Pennington was forced to audible because the Lions did a good job of disguising their defensive front. They act as if they were going to blitz that time, and after Pennington made the check, they came out of it, dropped to a zone defense, and what the zone defense allowed them to do is to read the draws a little bit better, to see the screen plays and get more defenders to the football. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to confuse the young quarterback by disguising their defensive front, putting themselves in a better position to play defense.
Now a 3rd and 4. The Jets have 13 first downs in this first half. Timing pattern up top, incomplete. Coles matched up with Goodman. And Andre Goodman gets the job done in that secondary for Detroit.
And that time they did come after Pennington with the blitz. They're just in man-to-man bump and run coverage. Andre Goodman, he gets the jam, throws off the timing of the route, and then he stays in position. He did the important thing is getting his head around, finding the football and knocking it down.
It'll be the first punt of the afternoon for the Jets. Matt Turk comes in averaging just over 42 yards per punt. Eddie Drummond is waiting, standing at his own 28-yard line. Will move forward. Contact made as Drummond caught it. And then he is touched up. Next Saturday, we've got one of college football's most colorful rivalries. Jason Campbell leads the Auburn Tigers against Tyler Watts and the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's next Saturday, the SEC on CBS. Marty Morningweg talking to him about this young football team. He just said they're missing a big-time playmaker and a speedster coming out of that backfield. He likes James Stewart, but he'd love to have that breakaway running back.
Yeah, he compared James Stewart to Edgar Bennett from his days in Green Bay. Guys can run the draws and screens, but yeah, they need that home run hitter in the backfield.
Pump fake. Harrington throws. Low throw, and it's incomplete. Crowell had an opportunity. You see the 3 white jerseys in his area. And it'll be 2nd and 10 for Detroit.
Crowell got the start over Schrader because Schrader dropped 3 balls last week. We had 8 drop balls by the offensive player. Schrader dropped 3. Hakeem, he dropped 3 as well. And they had a number of guys. This one ends up in the hands of the Green Bay Packers, goes for a touchdown. So they really failed the young quarterback by dropping so many balls. Schrader just had a really difficult week trying to bounce back from it. 3 drop passes so far here today.
And with that said, they claimed Jacquez Green off of waivers. He was cut by Washington this week. Green is inactive today. spin move up the middle, 4-yard gain for James Stewart as Evans and Ellis combined to bring him down. Now with Joey Harrington, we talked to him about the frustrations being a rookie quarterback, and he said he's got long days, and every time he gets down on himself or gets down on the way things are going, his roommate works construction, and that reminds him that his life isn't half bad.
No, that'll put it all into perspective. You watch a guy get up 5:30 in the morning and go and break his back and work hard to make a living, and you know, you can't complain about a guy dropping the ball, and I think Joey Harrington has handled all of it very well.
3rd and 6. Harrington will throw. High toss, and it's caught by Schrader. First down, Detroit, out near midfield. So the Lions are now driving as we approach the 2-minute mark here in the second quarter.
Well, Schrader has the mittens working today because he's snatching the ball out of midair and really doing a fine job catching the ball and getting himself in position to run after the catch.
Now, while the Lions may have been outplayed so far in the first half, they have a chance to make something happen here.
This shot for the cup and a piece of hurling history. What must be going through that young man's head, Has he got what it takes to be a champion?
Take it. With our advanced VTM four-wheel drive,
Gotta tell you, I've had some great deals come my way, but a big and tasty for just $1? You did your thing, dog. Not that I'm calling you a dog. I mean, you're more like a big purple... I don't know what you are. What you say about my mama?
Huh? Get a delicious, big, and tasty a McChicken sandwich and more every day on McDonald's Dollar Menu.
You got a buck, you're in luck. Grimace, bump with me. What?
Will update the condition of Pittsburgh's Tommy Maddox and Philadelphia's Donovan McNabb. Fractured an ankle in today's game. That's coming up. Scores, highlights as well. The Nextel halftime report. Jets 13, Lions 7. 2 minutes to play in this first half. Detroit has it a 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line. 4 receivers set. Stewart gets the handoff. Bounces off a tackler. Stewart into Jets territory and picks up 5 yards in the process. Jason Ferguson helps make the stop with Coward.
No, Stewart is a more than capable back. He's a guy that at the end of the year, he's going to have his 1,000 yards. Previous 2 weeks, the Jets defense, they held Ricky Williams to 53 yards last week. Tomlinson of San Diego, 60 yards. And so far here in the ballgame, Stewart has 85 yards rushing.
Double tight end set, Ricks and Owens. Harrington batted down. Firing through was Coward. So Sam Coward making plays in this defense. And when we spoke with him, asked him about making those adjustments, Solomon, he said he didn't want to say anything because he was the new guy.
Yeah, he was the guy that really, he was very patient. He didn't want Ted Cottrell, the defensive coordinator, to draw up anything special for him. He felt like he would work out the problems by working within the defense. But he missed a lot of time during the preseason, didn't play as much because he was bouncing back from an injury that kept him out all of last season. So it was very slow to come back. And many of the players, they take some of these things for granted. Right now, he's very happy to be playing at the top of his game.
This is a big play. Both teams have 3 timeouts left. Harrington, the throw to Stewart, but he comes up short of the first down. Aaron Beasley made sure of it, and not even close to the marker. 2 yards shy. Lions are thinking about going for it.
Well, while they're thinking about it, they're losing time.
Down to a minute left, or 1:01, and now the timeout was taken. They'll face a 4th and 2, and Marty Morningwood will make a decision. 13-7. Jets have the lead late second quarter.
Here you go, sir. Domino's new Buffalo Chicken Kickers.
Wow, real baked chicken delivered right to my door. You must be pulling my leg.
No, sir. That would be your dog.
Introducing Domino's Pizza Buffalo Chicken Kickers. Tender cuts of all-white chicken breast with a kick of spicy buffalo flavor baked through and through. 10 pieces for $5.99.
Man, that's good chicken.
Get the door and get a kick out of dinner tonight. Now get an order of Cinesticks free when you buy a large one-topping pizza for $9.99.
Lions sorting out what they want to do here. Hanson came onto the field. This would be a 60 or 61-yard attempt. Now Hanson is back off. Also, John Jett with a vested interest in what the decision will be here for Detroit.
And now they're going to go for it. So you have to really question Marty Morningwig if he was in control of the situation, because if you're going to go for it, you don't want all that time to run off the clock. You want to try to conserve some of that time so that you can try to put some points on the board in this situation.
The only thing you could think, though, if Detroit doesn't get it, it leaves the Jets less time to work with. But at this point, you have to think optimistically like they're going to get it. On a 4th and 2, empty backfield. They need 2 yards to keep this drive going. Harrington steps up, throws. Catch made by Ricks, and a flag down. It is a first down if the play holds up. They picked up 4 yards inside the 40. Sam Coward had the coverage. But a penalty marker, as mentioned.
Offside. 94. Defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. Will penalize 5 yards. First down.
Second mental mistake for John Abraham.
Watch his head right here. You can't line up in the neutral zone. His head, he's offsides from the word go. He has to understand that he can't do that. He's a veteran ball player. Making those kind of mistakes, that's what has cost him so many times so far this season. They take the penalty. It turns out to be a 5-yard play. And Harrington slings one to Schlesinger, a flag down. Corey Schlesinger to the 30-yard line, but another penalty marker, and this one is going back. It's going to be holding against the Detroit Lions. It was thrown in the backfield as the pressure was coming in on Harrington. It's going to be holding on their offensive line.
Jets have been penalized 3 times. Detroit, before that play, just once.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 75, offense. Still first down.
Now that's Matt Joyce filling in for the injured Tony Semple, who is sitting this one out with a neck injury. Second straight week that Joyce has been forced into the starting lineup on that left side.
And right now, the Jets' defensive line is doing a much better job of getting a push in the face of Joey Harrington. Josh Evans, Jason Ferguson, we had already talked about how Sam Coward has improved in this defense, but I think the tackles have done even a better job of improving their game because they're doing a better job against the run, but they're getting the push also in the pass rush.
And now a 1st and 20. They back it up to the 48. Harrington steps up, throws, knocked up in the air, and incomplete. James Reed, the backup nose tackle, getting a piece of that one. Avion Cason was the intended receiver from Harrington.
And that's just a smart play by Reed. You're not going to get to Harrington. So what you do, you stay at the line of scrimmage, you see Reed, he will get his hands up. He's reading the quarterback. When you can't get to a quarterback who has such a quick release like Harrington does, you sometimes have to be patient and content to maybe try to knock some balls down at the line of scrimmage. We saw Coward knock one down earlier in the quarter, and there's Reed making a play at the defensive line.
Harrington 3-4 as the Lions starting quarterback. All 3 of those wins coming at home. Anticipation, and almost picked off by Mickens. The intended receiver, Scotty Anderson. And it'll be 3rd and 20 for Detroit with under a minute left.
And if Mickens holds on to this one, he's going to take it to the house, but he reads the quarterback. Look, he breaks to the outside. Once the number 2 receiver, Schrader, comes inside, you know that slant route is going to go to the number 1 receiver on your outside, and just a 7-year veteran has the experience to read the quarterback, and he knows what routes are being ran by the receivers.
3rd and 20. See the timeout situation. Jets still have 3 remaining. Could get the football back. Harrington stumbles a bit, throws, complete to Cason, but well short of a first down to the 41-yard line. 8 yards over the middle. Ray Mickens made the stop. And now time is trickling away, so the Jets are going to settle for a lead going into the locker room and not try to add to it.
And Mickens came a long way to make that tackle. He's seeing everything right now, and just he's an experienced ball player. He knows how to play defense. Read the quarterback.
Timeout. Detroit, number 2. This is a 30-second timeout.
Well, the Lions have one timeout remaining. Again, Hansen is leaning towards the field, waiting to see if he's going to get an opportunity for a long field goal. Don't forget, another reminder that the next halftime report is coming up. Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer, the whole gang back in New York. They'll update the condition of Steelers QB Tommy Maddox and Philadelphia's Donovan McNabb. Scores and highlights around the NFL in Week 11 coming up on the Nextel halftime report. And we'll give kudos to Boomer Esiason, who had a good piece with Chad Pennington in the NFL Today earlier. Pennington, the new leader of this Jets offense, and Boomer got right down to the heart of the matter there with Lavernius Coles and others.
Well, I think it's sure, and one thing that came out in the piece by Boomer is that all the players for the New York Jets thoroughly support Chad Pennington. They sense that he will be the guy of the future, and he's going to have a great career because such a smart player, and I think show really good signs of leadership.
Detroit's going to go for it on 4th and 12 with only 14 seconds left. Could have tried a 58-yard field goal. Instead, it's Harrington under some heat. Harrington throws on the run. Broken up. Larry Foster, the intended receiver. Aaron Beasley was there for New York, and the Lions turned it over on down.
And right now, the players in the secondary for the New York Jets, they're breaking on the ball. And Beasley, he drops Crowell and comes back to the shorter route, gets a hand in there, and able to get that ball out. And that's just really good zone defense by the secondary for the New York Jets. They're playing the deep receiver, then they're breaking on the shorter routes, just showing good speed. We saw the play by Beasley, and Ray Mickens made some plays on that drive as well.
And Pennington is going to use a timeout with 9 seconds left in the half. The football is spotted at the 40. You could get a sideline play complete. Obviously, the sequence would have to work in your favor. Get out of bounds and maybe get a long field goal attempt off. See what the Jets decide to do. Do they go conservative, take a knee, and just settle for the 13-7 lead, or try to get it downfield?
I think you try to get it down the field. You never know what can happen, but if you're Detroit, you know you're going to come out and prevent defense anyway, looking to bat the ball down. But stranger things have happened. That's why you have to always take a chance when you have an opportunity.
They'd need about 20 yards to get within John Hall's range. You'd be looking at about a 58-yard attempt, and Hall has the leg strength.
They're just going to down it.
And the final play of this first half as Pennington takes a knee, and the Jets leading the Lions 13-7. Chad Pennington, 12 of 15 throwing the football, 97 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. End of the first half, 13-7 Jets. Coming up next, Nextel halftime report. The entire NFL Today gang will update you on injuries around the league, scores and highlights. That's coming up after this message and a word from your local station.